Free your mind.
Good evening and welcome to Cult Free Radio. This is your host, Mad Sweeney, and tonight we also have a co-host or a guest host or a guest speaker or however you would like to call it. Our good friend Terry is going to be here to discuss the psychological aspects of mind control, and after we have a nice discussion on BITE, the BITE model, and also on cognitive, let me make sure I get this right. Terry's more the expert than I am on this topic. Social categorization theory. Then we will have our interview that everyone's been anticipating with Steve Hassan, author of Combating Cult Mind Control, author of Releasing the Bonds, Empowering Others to Think for Themselves, and cult exit counselor who has spoken and helped people internationally all around the world. And his website, Steve Hassan's site, I will try to remember to say this several times throughout the night, is www.freedomofmind.com. All together one word, freedomofmind.com. One announcement before we get into Terry's presentation on the psychological aspects of mind control is the next show. Because I'm not on a set schedule, I like to announce at the beginning and the end of each Cult Free Radio show when the next show is scheduled to be on. And the next show is supposed to be December 10th. It will be our very first Christmas special, and we will also have a co-host for that one. You may know him as AnonDude2 from YouTube, and I do not know whether he wants me to release his actual real-life name, but he can do that on the air if he likes. And so we'll have AnonDude2, and I believe he may even have some of his friends as well. So that will be on December 10th, Saturday. And without further ado, our good friend Terry is going to talk to us now about psychological aspects of mind control.
Hi, guys. I have a question about the Christmas special, or a request possibly. Are we going to have singing Wookiees?
That I am not sure of, but hey, if it's a request, I'll pass it on, and we'll see what we can do about it.
Yeah, that would be great. Wookiees, stormtroopers, sort of thing.
Sounds good.
Thanks for having me on. It just occurred to me to talk about my qualifications for why I'm talking about this. And I didn't go to school for it. I don't have a degree. But, if you're listening, you probably have most of the same qualifications that I do. And that is that you've experienced this control firsthand, and you're looking into or you have looked into the details of why and how, and going through the steps of freeing yourself from it, and finding that it takes some time. Also, a good friend of mine who was once a witness. In fact, I remember taking some doors and pioneer work together. He took a very different path at some point, and he got himself a doctorate in group psychology. And I've had the opportunity to have some in-depth discussions with him on this, and he's given me some material to research. So I feel that's a privilege, and I've learned some things that I want to pass on. So that pretty much covers it.
Well, thanks, Terry. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad that you were able to sort of pick the brain of your expert friend. And I think, like you said, most of us, or several of us, I can't I can't speak for the audience, but I know you and I have read Steve Hassan's work as well as other works on the psychological aspects of control, and so we have a little bit of a background. Plus, we've all, I'm sure, lived it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're what we call in my work SMEs, subject matter experts.
There you go.
But the first thing I wanted to talk about is why bother? Because I know that some have the point of view of, well, this is behind me. I don't want to give them any more control over my life. I don't want to spend any more time on this. But the fact is, well, at least in my case, I was born in, and for the majority of my life, I was under that illusion. And the more I pull it apart, the more I realize every day there's still some of that left. And the more I understand about it, the more I can get rid of it and really become who I should have been, who I should be. And it reminds me of just looking at the extra features in a movie and finding out how it was made. And it always reminds me of that that beginning scene in Fellowship of the Ring, where you see the different scenes where the hobbits and the wizard are there you go. There's the picture. They're filmed in such a way that Frodo is supposed to be 3 feet tall and Gandalf is like a good 6 feet or so tall. Now in that scene, they didn't use any CGI. They used pure and simple camera tricks, good old fashioned forced perspective. Now, when I was watching this in the theater a few times and on the disc a few times, it was great. It was real. It's like, wow, they're really writing down the card together. How'd they do that? I don't care. This is great. When I watched the special features and realized when you turn the camera 3 inches to the left, it's gone. There's no illusion. You see that it's really people who are not really that different in height. It's just a camera trick. And now whenever I see that movie, I can't enjoy that scene anymore. It's ruined for me. There are others throughout the series that are like that. Now all I think of is how they did it instead of enjoying the content. And I think that the same thing happens with understanding the kind of control that we were under. And again, just the more we understand about it, the more illusion just dissolves and their power over us. I mean, if anyone's concerned about spending any more time on that or them having any more power over our lives, I think the more we understand, the more it just dissolves and we can actually forget about it over time.
I think that makes a lot of sense. That it's also sometimes, I think another analogy that's very similar is like a magic trick. Stage magicians, illusionists, they all know what the others are doing, and they may respect the skill of the other person, the other professional stage magician, but they are not in awe of the trick. They're not swayed by the what appears to be magic, and it's the same with us as former cult members. If we learn and understand what was done to us and how it was done, we can see right through it, and we understand that, like you said, it takes their power away.
Well, I guess we can go into the BITE model then, B-I-T-E. I mean, it was Steve Hassan, or does it say his name Hassan or Hassan? How does it say his name? Hassan, okay. Steve Hassan, of course, is the real expert here because he really put this together in a way that makes sense. According to his website, and I'll just quote this from him, mind-controlled cult members can live in their own apartments, have 9-to-5 jobs, be married with children, and still be unable to think for themselves and act independently. And I don't know if you remember being a witness and saying, no, I've worked this out for myself, I've done the research, and I am thinking for myself, this is what I want to do. And then looking back, we understand that we were really giving our mental faculties over to someone else.